Yeah, no, I've been really impressed with them. First two games in particular, a little bit like us, their team defence has been really good and they've tackled really well. So I'm looking forward to a really hard challenge in Melbourne.
It's been almost 20 years since Crows won 4 in a row. Does that interest you at all?
Not really, no. Just, I said before, it's a 22-round boxing match. This is round 4. We've got to come out and do the things that we've done previously. There's no guarantee. It's 4 points. It's in Melbourne. We performed well there against Collingwood. I'm interested to see how committed we are to perform as well this week.
Taylor Walker okay?
Yeah, he'll play.
That final was widely seen as one of the side's vulnerabilities in the lead up to the season, but you guys lead the comp in terms of points against. Is that, you put that down to team defence, all-round defence?
Small sample size still at the moment, Harry, because it's only 3 games, but I've been happy with the commitment and the pressure the guys have put on the opposition up the ground. I know it was wet conditions, 144 stoppages last week, but have 108 tackles. That was outstanding from our players.
One of the defenders, obviously Kyle Chaney, missed last week. Where's he at the moment?
Yeah, hopefully he'll come into consideration for the Port game, Tom.
You expecting any changes, or are you happy with your winning 22, Phil?
We're about to sort that out now. Our state league plays tonight. There's a couple of considerations that we'll discuss as a group.
How do you handle that with guys like Jared Lyons and Matt Crouch that just perform consistently really, really well in this?
No, they need to be rewarded, but the position they play is basically inside mid, and at the moment Thompson performed really well last week and we've been really happy with Cam Ellis Yeoman. So it's a matter of whether they those two guys can force those two guys out of the team at the moment. I don't really see those two guys at this stage playing other positions, whereas maybe some of the other players who haven't performed that well have been in different roles. So I'm really big on rewarding guys who have played well, but you also got to understand what position they play.
So has that been the instruction to them to try and create a little bit more?
Yeah, look, I've met with them each week. They know exactly what they need to do to get into the team, and you could probably say both of them have performed well enough last week to play AFL footy, but they have to put someone out of the team, and I've been very happy with Thompson and Ellis Yeoman.
The club's been very confident in Cam, sort of keeping his development going, but are you seeing a spike in development or a quicker rise this year now that he's actually playing some senior AFL footy?
Yeah, I'm on record a bit with young players is you need to get 50 games into them, and what happens with a lot of players is they can't maintain their form long enough to get that good stretch of games. So it's great for Cam that now he'll play 4 games in a row. Can we get that out to 22 games for the season? Maybe not, but that really helps their improvement from my experience.
About the venue, Phil, does that change the tactics anyway, change the style or approach?
I think it helps us, Steve, a little bit, personally. I was really happy with round 1 with our offence. I've been happy with our 3 games of our defence, but I'd like to think we were a little bit more offensive, and Eddie had, because it's that little bit rounder, perfect conditions gives us that opportunity.
So you're talking about speed of ball movement.
Yeah.
Phil, if one of your midfielders gets a heavy tag in, do you expect the boys to jump to his defence a little bit quicker than 3 quarters into the match?
Look, it's a little bit of a one where our guys are really focused on getting the result. So I think we committed to do that really well. Yeah, we'd like all our players to play well, but at the end of the day, if the scoreboard has us ahead, I think we've done what's required.
Looking forward to the conditions that'll suit you a bit better than the arm wrestle from last week as well.
Yeah, I just mentioned then that Eddie had suits our style of play. We had a really contested game against Collingwood. The Bulldogs are known from that. Now, it looks as if Luke's brought a little bit more offence to their game. But one thing Brendan McCartney did really well was teach how to win contested possession. So I think we're #1 tackling team, they're the #2 tackling team. It's going to be a great contest on Sunday.
Talk about that contested possession there, obviously very good. The AstroTurf, is that allowing you guys to train well this week?
Yeah, very good, Harry. We'll have to invite you up to have a go at what we do. But no, we've had a strong week on the AstroTurf this week. And we're looking forward to seeing some results. I was really happy though last week. Scott Thompson coming to the team, I think he won 16 ground balls last week. I know it was wet conditions. I'll be rapt if he can do that Sunday against the Bulldogs.
Is that still one of the major areas you're focusing on, Phil, for improvement? You talk a lot about that, the ground balls. Is that the sort of number one area you want to still ramp up?
Yeah, it's critical, Tom. So we've lost the last 2 weeks. Told the boys we'll jump off the jetty if we lose again this week.
You see someone like Scotty Thompson come in, one of the older players in the comp, and lead the way like that. Do you sort of expect, or do you see the younger players look up to him and see him win the hard ball? Does it sort of create a bit of a rise there as well?
I think he makes us stronger in the contest, so that's one of Scott's great strengths. He also brings great leadership though, so Sloan and Thompson, both in your midfield, they're fantastic leaders for the club, so he's been a welcome addition.
I'll just ask about Dangerfield, Vince. Are you surprised that it attracted so much attention seemed to be talked about for days and days and days?
Yeah, nothing surprises me in this game, Steve. It's a big news cycle, and probably for me now, and probably since Monday, my focus has all been on Western Bulldogs, so it's a little bit of background noise, really.
Do you take much attention pay much attention to the media, and do you read a lot of them?
I'm on record that I don't. So I'm a bit oblivious to everything that goes on. But in Adelaide, you seem to, I'm a little bit more recognised now, and a few more people tell me what's actually been said. But I've always been a guy who's just buries himself in getting prepared for the next opponent, and that's what I've done this week.
Montebelli's only played 10 games, but is he worth throwing a tag on? He's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm not a tag coach, so I'm on record as that. If he gets going, though, we'll put a cooler on him. I've been really impressed with him, a young man. He reminds me of Scott Pendlebury in some ways, just the way he goes about his footy. I know there was a little bit of conjecture when he got drafted, how high he should have gone, but I'm going to really enjoy watching his journey in AFL footy. I hope I don't enjoy watching it too much on Sunday.
It's different. What's the actual difference between a cooler and a tagger?
So a tagger, and again, it's interesting because you watched the Bulldogs last week. I think Hodge had 40-something. So it looks as if Luke's got a little bit of that same view, but if someone really gets going and starting to hurt you game day, you need then to actually address that, because there's some individuals in this comp who actually can win a game by themselves. So you've got to be able to have some ability then to negate that. And that's what I mean by a cooler. So he mightn't start the day on that player, but he's got to be able to have the ability to go onto that player and then cool him.
Is it worth doing that before he gets going? Preempt? I mean, we could sit here all day and talk about this.
Yeah, and I would. I'm happy to do it. My philosophy with footy is I want to get them worrying about us before we have to worry about them. And that's the game. So most teams at the start, most coaches will throw a few things around, and it's who blinks first. Are you going to stay focused on what you're doing, or do you then have to react to what the opposition's doing? Unfortunately for us last week, we had to make some changes based on what the opposition were doing. That's the game. That's the tactical thing that we're looking at. Hopefully this week we can get off to a good start and the Bulldogs will have to worry about us.
That must say a lot about where you guys are at. You can make those adjustments and then go on and have such a pretty good win, don't you think?
No, I was really happy with how the guys responded on the weekend. A little bit of it was around centre bounce, but a little bit of it was about how we moved the ball out of our back line and how we reset our forwards. So we were able to make those adjustments, and then we were able to get the game back on our terms.
Is the way they spread a defence a concern?
Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've really improved at that. I was really impressed with how they did it at the MCG v Richmond. They make you defend the whole ground. Some teams, because of their ball movement, you may only need to defend certain areas of the ground. But one thing the Bulldogs have done really well this year in their 2 winning games is make you defend the whole ground.